In this True Realities trial review, we're breaking down the full case against Diddy, what we heard, what was exposed, and what it means for celebrity culture moving forward. But let me be clear, I'm not here to echo the prosecution. I've watched this case unfold from the jump, and while the public's been divided, I want to offer a perspective you won't hear on mainstream outlets. So now that the verdict is in, I can speak my mind. No trafficking, no organized conspiracy. What did stick were 2 counts related to the transportation of women for sex acts, basically pimping charges. He is still facing a 20-year maximum sentence, but does not have a life sentence hanging over his head. And yet, this whole thing felt strange from the beginning. Let's rewind. It all started with a highly publicized house raid. Feds storming his properties, media spinning it like they just took down Pablo Escobar. And I won't lie, at first I was indifferent. I said, maybe it's time. Let the truth come out. But I expected the prosecution to come in hot with actual evidence of sex trafficking. I mean, if you're going to raid a man's home and show his name in the mud, you better have something airtight. Instead, their smoking gun was a clip of domestic violence. That's not sex trafficking. That's not RICO. That's not a cult. That's a toxic relationship. Ugly? Yes. Criminally orchestrated? No. And right then and there, I realized this wasn't going where people thought it would. Now let's talk about the woman at the center of this storm, Cassie. Let's be real. Cassie is not a household name because of her talent. She is a woman whose entire image was built off one hit song, Me and You, and after that, cricket. No sustained career, just pretty privilege and a proximity to power and status. She became an industry ornament, more often on red carpets and yachts than on stages. Diddy didn't sign a superstar, he recruited an aesthetic. A beautiful, submissive figure to hang on his arm while he moved through the entertainment elite. Cassie wasn't the artist being groomed for legacy. She was the carefully styled side piece, present for the optics. And yet, she stayed. Not for a year, not 2, over a decade. This wasn't some young girl locked in a basement. This was a woman at Fashion Week in Paris, dripping in couture, sitting beside Diddy in front row seats. It's on record. They were spotted publicly in 2007, but things started brewing back in 2005 when she was just 19. He kissed her at her 21st birthday in Vegas, the same year he broke off things with Kim Porter. That entire dynamic was a power exchange, and Cassie was willing to play her part for access. But here's where things flip. She didn't just ride the wave, she plotted the exit. Cassie was collecting evidence for years. Bruises? She didn't go to the police. She had her mother take photos, but not to press charges. They stored them, sat on them, waited for the moment the price was right. That's not survival, that's strategy. And let's not forget her husband, Alex Fine. The moment she left Diddy, she was pregnant by Alex in under a year, and suddenly rebranded as wholesome. I personally believed he's the real mastermind. He saw the lawsuit as a meal ticket, played the protective white husband role to the public, and used the Adult Survivors Act expiration as the final move. Now she's raising a family on Diddy's hush money. Let's call it what it is. They extorted him. So here's how she did it. Cassie had written a book about her relationship with Diddy that she planned to publish. She indicated to Diddy that he could buy the rights to the book for $30 million to prevent it from being published. And when that didn't work, boom, lawsuit filed. Within 24 hours, settled. And she conveniently testified with a baby on the way, painting herself as a woman who endured hell and found peace.
I want to be a mother, and I want to be motherly. It would be somebody that's good with kids, I guess. I grew up, it was just me and my brother. I think two is good.
And let's be real, Cassie's pregnancy timing was no coincidence. I believe she got pregnant on purpose right before the trial to frame herself as the innocent, vulnerable mother. That imagery, it's powerful in the court of public opinion. A glowing woman carrying life, it softens the blow of any accusations thrown her way. It's strategic, it's sympathetic optics, and it worked. Cassie is good. Really good. She conned Diddy and conned the courts. I gotta hand it to her. You played your big one. Netflix movies. Let's not act surprised. They love a good hustle turned heroine. And here's what's telling. Cassie didn't even hide her motives in private. According to Capricorn Clark, Diddy's own former assistant, Cassie once confessed she had no intention of leaving him, not because of love or fear, but because Jay-Z was taken. When Clark encouraged her to date other men, Cassie allegedly asked, "Who would I even date?" Think about that. She wasn't looking for peace. She was scouting for status. And in her mind, if Beyonce already locked down Hove, there were no better options left. That's not survival mode. That's social climbing. That's calculating your next move based on who can offer you the highest lifestyle return. This wasn't about trauma. It was about keeping her seat at the luxury table. She wasn't stuck. She was shopping, waiting for a better deal. Diddy wasn't abusive enough to make her leave, but he wasn't generous enough to make her stay. That's not the mindset of a victim. That's a mercenary. This is the exact behavior we are seeing in Jane Doe too. Allegedly 50 Cent's baby mama, doing the same thing out of envy for women like Young Miami who got to enjoy the lifestyle openly and proudly. This entire situation reeks of failed side chicks flipping the script for sympathy when the bag dries up. And you want to know where this playbook came from? Jennifer Lopez. J.Lo used Diddy for proximity, press, and clout. When things went south, she bounced and rebranded. She wrote the blueprint. Cassie tried to follow, but Diddy didn't hand her the same spotlight. Instead, he kept her in the shadows, flying her out, controlling her look, even allegedly organizing freak-offs. And you know what? She participated. She orchestrated those setups, found the men, booked the rooms, enforced his preferences, and now she wants to cry victim. That makes her both the supplier and the survivor. She's not innocent. Let's go even deeper. There's a disturbing racial pattern emerging. Many of these lawsuits come from Latina and Asian women, or ethnically ambiguous types, and they're almost always targeting black men with wealth. These women come up in the entertainment space, latch onto successful black men, and when the romance ends, they reach for the lawsuit. It's become an industry. Why is it that these women get the benefit of advocacy, sympathy, and legal leeway, but their role in the case gets overlooked? The justice system gives them every advantage. While Diddy is being painted as a monster, Cassie's image is rebranded from freak-off worker to wife and mother of 3. No, she deserved to share the verdict, not just write letters trying to block him from bail. She was part of that world. She helped build the image. She benefited for years. And now she walks away with a family, a rebrand, and an 8-figure payout. That's not justice. That's pimping the system. And don't get me started on the idea that she's now a role model. She's a glorified social climber who used sex, silence, and timing to climb the ladder. Diddy got played by a professional, not a prisoner. The legacy Cassie is building for her children, it's not one of survival. It's a line of strategic whoredom, where money, not morality, defines womanhood. She's not a victim. She's a willing agent in a power game, and she played her part so well that even the courts rewarded her. But we're not buying the act. Let's go back to the beginning. Diddy and Kim Porter were together, off and on, but they were raising a family. That was the foundation, the unit. Then comes Cassie. By 2007, she's all over the red carpets with Diddy. The same year he broke things off with Kim after having a baby with Sarah Chapman. Coincidence? Doubt it. Cassie didn't just slide into his heart, she disrupted a whole household. And for what? To live a fantasy for 10 plus years, only to walk away and build her real dream family with the white man she always wanted, financed by a settlement from Diddy. These men never learn. Men, protect your homes, protect the women who build with you, because once you let the enemy in through the back door, it's game over. Cassie wasn't a blessing. She was the slow leak that sunk the ship. The justice system needs to be challenged when it blindly protects the softer narrative, especially when it favors women simply because they cry the loudest, not because they're innocent. This case revealed a dangerous oversight, how men with wealth can be entrapped, accused, and convicted based on relationships that once looked consensual, all because the court of public opinion has no due process. And this isn't just a Cassie story. This is the exact behavior we are seeing in Jane too. Same playbook, same envy, same outcome. When the spotlight shifted to young Miami, who embraced her role with Diddy and benefited openly, women like Cassie and Jane couldn't stomach it. Why? Because the new girls weren't hiding. They were winning. Jane Doe is a textbook case of the failed side chick turned moral crusader. Talentless, labeling herself as a model to conceal what really paid her bills. Let's be honest, her real job description? Sex worker. These rappers keep falling into the same trap, blinded by skin tone, curves, and Euro-Asian features. In their mind, they've bagged a prize. But in reality, they've invited the setup. The entire rap industry has pushed this toxic agenda, sidelining black women while glorifying the quote-unquote exotic. But now it's coming back to bite them in the ass. Between 50 Cent and Kanye, I don't know who's the biggest clown. Both out here procreating with porn stars, prostitutes, and con artists, then crying foul when the lawsuits come raining in. You can't normalize whole culture and expect to retire with honor. These women aren't building families. They're securing paydays, filing lawsuits when the Gucci dries up, turning intimacy into court documents. And yet the justice system keeps rewarding them like they're survivors, not strategists. Wake up.
Wake up, nigga.
They weren't wives. They weren't mothers of the man's children. They were girlfriends, side chicks, or casual flings. But the moment things turns left, they weaponized the court of public opinion. Cassie did the nastiest things in private, by her own admission, but felt betrayed because she left empty-handed. No brand, no legacy, no empire. And who does she end up with? A white man. A safe man. The man she probably wanted all along, which tells me this was never love. This was leverage. Let's talk about the moment the verdict came down. The prosecutors dropped the ball big time. Sex trafficking, dropped. Kidnapping, dropped. Attempted arson, dropped.
And writing truthfully about a man wrongly charged with most of the crimes. And that we all must remember that allegations are nothing. And I'd like to thank Sean for letting me be here. Thank you all. God bless.
These serious charges were pulled back at the end of the trial, and that says everything. They knew this case had holes, they knew the evidence wasn't enough, but they pushed the narrative anyway, loudly, publicly, and dramatically, just to turn public opinion against Diddy. That's not about justice, that's about shock value.
Despite the terrible conditions at the MDC, I want to thank the good people who worked there, who ensured that we had sufficient amount of time to prepare for trial. It is extremely difficult to prepare for a federal case in the conditions at the MDC, and they did everything they could to make that happen. I want to thank them. I also have been saying this since the beginning of this case. Sean Combs has not sexually assaulted anybody. I've been saying this for months. We've said it with each lawsuit that came out, and today that was proven true. The media got it wrong about Sean Combs every single day for nearly 2 years. I ask that for every time you guys see a civil lawsuit, criminal complaints or criminal indictments, you actually take a look and analyze these and see whether or not these are actually going to stand up in a court of law, because today they did not. He has not sexually assaulted anybody, certainly hasn't sex trafficked anybody, and the jury found that today. Thank you.
And let's be clear, Cassie and J.Lo were not innocent players. They were just as complicit, but immunity kept them safe and made sure the spotlight stayed on him. And one of Diddy's attorneys said something that hits.
This particular jury was a special jury. It was fantastic. It listened, it paid attention, it put the nonsense to the side, it put the distractions to the side, and came to a lawfully good, just conclusion.
Let that sink in. And he's right. Too many people want to convict a man in the headlines before the courtroom, but guess what? That courtroom did what it was supposed to do.
Thankfully, in our country, we have a right to a jury trial. And thankfully, Mr. Combs took that right. He actually battled for his freedom, for his innocence. He did it. And a lot of times, people are too afraid to do it. And he did it, and we're so happy that he did. We're proud of him. We are completely honored that he put his faith and his trust in us to fight for him. Today is a major win to show what the system can do. We appreciate and we're so thankful to the jury. Thank you to the court. Thank you, New York. It's been a pleasure being here and fighting in your district. Thank you so much. And listen, we appreciate the media. We do. There was a lot of reporting on the accusations. There was a lot of reporting on the indictment. Please report just as vigorously on the acquittal of these counts, please, because that's also the right thing to do. Thank you.
This was a great victory for Sean Combs, and an even greater victory for the jury system, because when good people show up to serve, justice doesn't fold under pressure. But it doesn't stop there. After the verdict, Diddy's defense attorney requested $1 million bail, and guess what Cassie's legal team did? They sent a letter to block it, asking the judge to keep him behind bars. And it worked.
We are back with our breaking news. The judge in the Sean Diddy Combs trial has just rather shockingly denied him bail.
The judge said that Diddy showed a disregard for the rule of law and denied bail. So, Cassie had the audacity to write a letter to block his bail? Now you tell me, is that justice or is that revenge? The same woman who walked away with a settlement, a family, and a brand new public image, now playing gatekeeper to this man's freedom. Come on. But let's be honest, Being behind bars doesn't stop nothing from happening. The jurors knew this case had little merit. That's why they threw out the charges. But if Cassie and Jane didn't have immunity, best believe they'd be in the same boat as Diddy. We gotta stop letting courtroom narratives override critical thinking. Because if the law is supposed to work for everyone, then why should Cassie get protection while Diddy gets punished, even though they're both complicit in the same crime? If there's a moral to this story, it's this. Men, choose wisely. The same woman smiling in selfies next to you could be screen recording every move. These women aren't building with you. They're biding time, waiting for the moment they can cash in with public sympathy as their weapon. And Diddy, he allowed the chaos. He let too many in. And when you blur the lines between lifestyle and loyalty, this is what happens. He was the empire and she was the intern trying to own the building. So here we are. The trial is over, but the lesson? Wealth can't protect you when loyalty is for sale. This is True Realities. I'll catch y'all in the next one.